Hello everyone. Today we're going to be creating my character who will be part of my Let's Play series. So here we go. I'm now using the character creation benchmark because the game comes out in about well, just over 2 weeks, and the open beta is going to start in 5 or 6 days, next Friday, for the people that were in phase 3. So, I mean, I've already got the character ready, as you can see, but I want to just go through the options, explain how it all works for anyone that's new to the game or might be interested in playing open beta, and just give you like a quick introduction about how to make it. So, the character creation benchmark allows you to create your character ahead of time and then import it into the game, including beta phase 4 and the actual game itself. So, there is a good reason to do this basically ahead of time, just so that when you get into the game finally you can just get on and go ahead and play the game rather than spend hours and hours and hours creating your character. You can do the hours of creating your character ahead of time. So okay, here we go. So what you do is click here, create character, obviously, and if you have already created a character before, you can just click this button here, load appearance data, in case you wanted to fiddle with the settings that are one you've already made. But I'm going to just start from fresh and recreate this character. So okay, so here we have all of the races. You have the here, which is basically just humans. You have the Elzen, which are elves. Lalafell, which are these sort of small, not really dwarfs or gnome or anything, but they're just the small childlike race of the game, like the Taru in Final Fantasy XI. You have the Mikote, which is the cat race, given the ears and the tail and so on. And then you have the Rogadin. So pretty much all of these classes were available in Final Fantasy XI, but they just had different names. And as you can see, all classes can be both male and female. So I'm going to stick to what I know, which is female Mikote, because I played a Mithrie in Final Fantasy XI for many years. So, okay, confirm. Now you have two options here, Seekers of the Sun or Keepers of the Moon. The Seekers of the Sun are, well, they have more stats. It seems more tended towards like melee DPS and so on over casting, and Keepers of the Moon are the opposite. As you can see, they have much higher things like mind and piety. However, it's really down to just what you prefer looks wise, because it's already been stated that by the time you get to level 50, the difference in statistics really is negligible, so it really makes no difference by the end of the game. So it's really down to what you prefer the look of. So I'm going to go with Seekers of the Sun next. Now, I just run through quickly my preferences for the game. So, generally, I do love the idea of a warrior who looks fragile, looks small and so on, but will just kick your ass. So, that's why I love picking the Mithrie to begin with, is because even though she might look, say, physically weaker than the other characters, especially say the Rogadin or Elzen or whatever, I just love the idea that such a tiny warrior is able to, show all of her power and dominance. But for that reason, I decided to make her as small as possible, as short as possible. Okay, next. So here we have bust size. Now, I'm a guy, so my obvious preference is this, but you can just change it however you like, and yeah, but, reminds me of my girlfriend, so moving on. Right, skin colour. So, you can be anything from really, really dark brown to just white like snow. So, I'm just going to go for, so not completely too white, a little bit of a tan, like there you go. Next, tails. Now you can just choose the shape of the tail at this point. So you see here, that's like a lion's tail, and really bushy one. and so on. But I like to just go for this one. Small tail, nice and cute. Okay, next. And for the same reason as before about keeping things small, obviously other than the bust size, I put the tail length to its shortest. Okay, so you can go quite long, as you can see, but I prefer it to be small because to remember the fact that she's a cat and not a monkey. Okay, next. Right, hairstyles. So you have quite a few options of hairstyles. Now one thing to notice about these, that these four might look like they're exactly the same, but if you just turn the head and look here, you see that it is the same hairstyle, but they have different coloured hairbands. That's the only reason for these four options. So, and I think it's the same for this one as well. You see here the oh no, sorry, it's the thing hanging down next to the ears that have different colours. So I'm gonna go for, which one do I go for? Yeah, I go for this one just because it has almost like multiple styles. You know, it's got the ponytails, it's got the long hair at the front, it's got the braids at the side, it's got a bit of everything, so that's what I like to go for. So moving on. Now hair colour. Now I did mess around with hair colour for a bit, and I wanted something which would have the most impact, especially when it came to highlights. So what you can do here, you can have two colours. One is the main hair colour and the other one is the highlights, as you can see. But I found that sometimes with some combinations of hair, you can barely even see the highlights. So I wanted something with a lot of impact. So after a long time, I decided to go for black hair with a sort of reddish type of highlight. So yeah, because as you can see, white does have a big difference, but I thought having the reddish one made it look more like a burn, which I think looks quite cool. So as we go down, you can see, you know, these colours don't really go very well with black, but then I got to this sort of region, and then I thought, yeah, this is what I'd like. So just going through again. Yeah, so as you can see here, you know, I just like this style of hair. So, okay. Now, moving on. Right, now this option is focused obviously on the face, so there's only four styles, but they are very different. So here you have like the most plain face, more like a cattish, feline face. Then these seem to be the same as the plain one, except there's just more facial tattoos sort of thing. That's slight difference with the eyebrows. So I'm gonna go for, yeah, I'll just keep it as it is. You know, I don't see any problem with this. So moving on. Jaw. Now, I don't find this bit too important. So, you know, the differences are so little for me, at least. So I just stick with the type 1, what's first selected. Then eye shape. Again, I'm not so bothered about the shape, so I just stick to the normal one. And then iris size. Now for this, I actually decided to go for small, just because I feel that this a little bit too intimidating. So I just decided, nah, let's make it a little bit cuter, make it a bit smaller. So next, eye color. Now I decided to just match the same sort of reddish, purplish reddish that's on her hair. So let's see. That's a bit too bright, I think. So no, maybe that will do. Hang on, let me check, because I actually wrote this down, which one I selected. Okay, so that's the one I picked. So now you do have the option to have odd eyes, which means you can have a different color for each eye. but that's really down to personal preference. I prefer them to just stay the same. Okay, moving on. Now, eyebrows. Now, for me, I prefer there to be a little bit more than just the sort of thinner line, but not too much. So you can go quite thick with the eyebrows, but I decided rather than it just being the default, I just go for this one a bit, you know. So, and you can barely see them anyway because the hair's in the way. So next, nose. Now for the nose, let me see. Yeah, I prefer the cute little. I do like that one. It's very cute, the sort of little pointy nose, but I prefer to, like I said, making things as small as possible as always, so that's why I went for this one, number 4. Next. Okay, mouth. Now, for me, I wasn't too bothered about the mouth, let's be honest about it, so I just decided to go for this one. Doesn't really make any difference. Next. Lip colour. Now, let's see. Yeah, so you have the 3 options up here. You have dark, light, and none. So with dark, as you can see, it's a bit darker, light, and then none, you could buy. I don't think it makes any difference in what colour you select. So I decided to go for dark, and then, let me see, then I went for, let's see. Yeah, I decided to go for this one, I think, just because it seemed to, yeah, just because it's a bit cold, you know, but you know, so it might give you the impression that she is maybe a little bit vulnerable, maybe even a little bit unwell, but then once I whoop your ass, then you'll see that she really isn't that weak. Next. Right. So, let's see, facial features. So you can choose to add as many facial features as you like from this list. So you can add thicker eyebrows, the scar on the left cheek, this slice along the nose, another on another cheek, and this dot on your forehead. I don't know if you can even see it. There you go. A tiny, tiny dot there. But I decided basically to just keep as pure as possible, let's say. So no scars, nothing yet. She's still the young warrior that's about to start in battle. So next. Oh yeah, so facial tattoos. I do actually like this sort of little, I don't want to call it blush, but you know, this little war paint on her face, and you can change the colour of this as the next option, so I decided to go for both of them. So next. Now again, I just stuck to the same sort of colours that I've been using the whole time. So let me see. So again, it's just referring to my piece of paper which one I selected, so yeah, so that's the one I selected. Again, goes with the eyes and a bit with the hair and so on. So next. Right, so now we have the face paint. Now, let me see. Now, you can only, unfortunately, actually pick one of these, but as you can see, they are quite, some of them really do cover the entire face. You get little drawings, if you like, or whiskers, or dots on the forehead, which is sort of anything on the forehead is irrelevant for me because the hair covers it up. And you can get this little butterfly and stars and stuff, but I decided to just go for just a little bit more colour around the eyes, just for the sake of it. So I decided to go for this one, yeah, the one that goes over the whole eye. So yeah, moving on. So again, with the face paint colour, you can actually change it to your preference, whether it be dark or light, and I decided to, yeah, because the light you can just sort of barely see it. So let me see. Yeah, I decided to make it black and dark just because it adds it's like a bit of eyeshadow around her eyes, just for the sake of it. So, yep. So next, moving on. Right, so voices. Now, this is really down to preference. I won't say what is better, what is worse. You know, it's really up to you. But what you can do is, you can click these buttons up here, which will have her doing different, you know, emotions and different sounds based on those emotions, and then you just select which type of voice you want. So, in the end, this is the voice. This is the one I decided to go for. It is my favourite, you know, it's really up to you. Just go through them all, see what you like, and then select what you like. So, that's it. So what you can do as well, throughout this whole process, if you want, is you can change the background environment by clicking these buttons here. So, as you can see, this one puts you at the, I think this is near Limsa Laminza, this sort of environment. Then you have here, which is in Black Shroud near Gridania. So that's Gridania over there. Then you have the desert, which is next to Uldar. And you just have it inside in like a room or like an inn or whatever. So it's just down to your preference, really, which one you want to test on. But it's just a way of seeing how does your character look in all environments, basically. That's the point of this. So, and it just gives you an idea of how good the graphics in this game actually are. And you can also do as well, by clicking this button here, you can change it from day to night as well. So you can just again see how things look in the game. So now one feature which is in the actual game, which isn't here, is this button here called Job. So what this one will do is that before you select which starting class you're going to have, you can click this button and then it will dress you up in the artifact gear of that class, so you can see what it will look like. Unfortunately, it's not in the benchmark. The only one in the benchmark is Paladin. So if I click confirm, what you can then do, it says save appearance data. This data can be used in both the benchmark and the game. So you say yes. You select a slot. As you can see, I've made a few already. So I'll just type in here my character name. So I decided to use number 2 just because I'd already made one before. Okay. There you go. So as you see, now we have my character, which will be part of my Let's Play series, Mithrie, and yeah. So as you can see, she's only dressed up in the Paladin outfit at the moment, but in the game you can play whatever class or job you'd like, and I'll cover those in another video. So thank you for watching, see you next time.